All right, thank you guys. Once again, happy Tuesday morning here to you. And if you really end up enjoying this college basketball video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing the like button. And if you're new here and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please feel free to do that right now as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, for those who don't already know, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. With that, guys, we got ourselves a pretty good slate of college basketball action. About 7 games here I want to break down here with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Alabama takes on South Carolina, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Alabama Crimson Tide is -6.5 on the road. Numbers 156, juice to the under. And if you like the Gamecocks of South Carolina in an upset on their home court, they're plus 260 on the money line. Now we're 2-0 in our last 2 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 67% in our last 18 daily best plays in that same category as well. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. Now, were you aware that we also have a board member tier package on Patreon that gives you access to every single pick I give out on that site through the end of February as well? That was all one question, by the way. Well, I'll talk a little bit more about that board member package in just a few moments, but for now, if you want to find out what our daily best play is for just $1.99, once again, link for that pick is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, South Carolina's lost 5 out of their last 7 ball games. Just 40% from the field they're shooting on their home court. The Gamecocks are also making less than 31% of their three-pointers in that same category. South Carolina failed to cover the number in 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Bama. And speaking of the Crimson Tide, they're 7-3 straight up against South Carolina in those 10 very aforementioned meetings. The Tides won 8 out of their last 10 ball games in the 2021 campaign here as well. Top 3 in the nation in defending the 3-ball on the road. The Tides holding their opponents to just 24% shooting from beyond the arc on the road. They're also holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field in that same category. Jaden Shackelford scoring just about 14 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and a couple assists. Meanwhile, senior guard John Petty Jr. scoring 13 points a night himself, along with 5 rebounds and 2 assists as well. Bama's in the top 5 in road 3-point shooting. They're also in the top 15 in the nation in road offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, the Tide's last 4 straight all stayed under the number, 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with South Carolina. Meanwhile, the Gamecocks saw 3 out of their last 4 stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Alabama Crimson Tide, -6.5, and the under 156. And before we go ahead and move on here, guys, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines of personal leans out for Tuesday's college basketball action. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to your week. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we've won our last 2 straight daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 67% in our last 18 daily best plays in that same category. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, it's just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. Now, were you also aware that our board member tier gives you access to every single pick I give on Patreon through the end of February? And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you're going to get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. Patreon will bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus, wagering on every single game that's on the slate, side and total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. And if you want to join our paid Patreon members and get in on the action, we have over 1,200 paid members who are currently signed up and active on that site. So once again, if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now our next matchup, it's not Kent State Bowling Green. We're actually going to cover a game that's not on our big screen behind me. I'm talking about Syracuse versus NC State, 6:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Wolfpack of NC State's -1.5 at home totals 147 and a hook. The Wolfpack successfully covered the point spread in their last 3 straight, 6-2 straight up on their home court this season. The Wolfpack allows just 63 points a game at the PNC Arena, and they hold their opponents to just 32% shooting from beyond the arc there. Jericho Helms is scoring nearly 14 a night, 5 rebounds, and 80% shooting from the stripe for the 6'7 junior. Meanwhile, DJ Funderburk is scoring nearly a dozen a game himself, along with 5 rebounds. Funderburk's making over 85% of his free throws himself. They're taking on a Syracuse team who failed to cover the number in their last 3 straight, just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9. The Orange is just 1-5 straight up on the road this season, and they failed to cover the number 5 times during that span. The Orange gives up 80 points a night when they travel. When it comes to the total in this one, 2 out of Syracuse's last 4 ball games stayed under the number, throwing out the Clemson game. Meanwhile, NC State's going 5-3 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the NC State Wolfpack -1.5 and the under 147 and a hook. All right, next contest, it is going to be in the SEC. I'm talking about Arkansas versus Kentucky, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Rupp Arena. The Kentucky Wildcats are the 1-point favorite at home, numbers 142.5. And if you like the Arkansas Razorbacks to win this one outright, they're currently catching even money for an outright win. Now, Arkansas has won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, top 10 in the nation in offensive rebounding. The Razorbacks find themselves averaging 83 points a game. And they're led by freshman guard Moses Moody, who's scoring over 16 points a game along with 5 rebounds. J.D. Notte is also scoring almost 14 points a night himself, along with 3 rebounds. Arkansas gives up just 69 points a game. They hold their opponents to less than 31% shooting from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Kentucky squad who's on a 3-game losing streak themselves, and they also dropped 6 out of their last 7. The Wildcats have gone just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 as well, and they have a very uncharacteristic overall record of just 5-12. UK scoring just 67 points a game, and they're making only 25% of their 3-pointers at home. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Kentucky's last 4 did get over the posted number, 4-3 to the over at the Rupp Arena. Meanwhile, Arkansas saw 5 out of their last 6 road games get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Arkansas Razorbacks +1 and the over 142.5. Next contest, staying in the SEC, Auburn versus Vandy, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Auburn's -6, totals 156.5. The Tigers are on a 3-game losing streak, just 2-5 straight up as the official road team. Auburn's also allowing 78 points a game when they travel, and they make only 30% of their 3 balls on the road as well. They're squaring off against a very scrappy Vanderbilt team who successfully covered the number in their last 3 straight. They're also 6-3 against the number in their last 9. The Commodores score 77 points a game at home. They're led by Scottie Pippen Jr., who's scoring 21 points a game along with 5 assists. Dylan Dessou is also scoring over 14 points a game himself, along with 8 rebounds as well. And when it comes to the total in this one, Vandy's 8-4 to the under in their last dozen meetings with Auburn. The Tigers on the other side are 60% to the under in their games away from home themselves. That includes a few neutral site games. Give me the underdog Vanderbilt Commodores +6 and the under 156.5. Next game, Creighton, Georgetown, 9 p.m. East. Creighton Blue Jays are -7 on the road. Totals 150.5. And if you like the Hoyas of Georgetown on their home court here this evening, they're +255 for an outright win on the money line. Now, Georgetown has lost 7 out of their last 10 ball games. 72 points a game they give up on their home court. The Hoyas are also making just 32% of their three-pointers at home as well. They're taking on a strong Creighton squad who's 6-2 straight up on the road this season, 14-5 straight up overall for the year. Creighton scores 80 points a night. They make nearly 49% of their field goals. Denzel Mahoney scoring 15 points a game along with 4.5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Marcus Zagorowski is also scoring nearly 15 a game himself, 3 boards and 4 assists for the junior guard. Creighton's holding their opponents to just 40% shooting from the field when they travel. And when it comes to the total in this one, Creighton saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the line, 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Georgetown went 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Throwing out the Villanova game, give me the Creighton Blue Jays -7 and the under 150.5. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be in the Big East. The Big 12. My bad. Big 12. Talking about West Virginia versus Texas Tech, 9 p.m. Eastern start time in Lubbock. The Texas Tech Red Raiders are -5 at home. Totals 140 and a hook. And if you like the Mountaineers in a big upset on the road here, they're plus $1.90 for some money line cash. West Virginia failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 3 contests. Nearly 73 points a game they're giving up when they travel. They're taking on a Texas Tech program who's on a 3-game winning streak themselves. And they hold their opponents to just 56 points a game in the United Supermarkets Arena. Texas Tech is in the top 15 in the nation defensively in points allowed. They're also holding their opponents to just 28% shooting from 3 land on their home court as well. Mac McClung is scoring over 17 points a night, along with 2 rebounds and a couple of assists. Meanwhile, Terry Shannon Jr. is scoring 13 a game himself, along with 5 rebounds as well. Total-wise, West Virginia's last 4 straight all got over the number, 80% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Texas Tech saw 7 out of their last 10 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Texas Tech Red Raiders -5 and the over 140.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. This is in the Big East. I'm talking about St. John's versus Butler, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Hinkle Fieldhouse. The Butler Bulldogs are -1.5 at home. Totals 138, juice to the over. Butler's lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Only 63 points per game they're scoring for the entire season. The Bulldogs are also shooting just 40% from the field on their home court as well. They're taking on a St. John's team who's red hot right now. They're on a 6-game winning streak, 8-0 against the number in their last 8 as well. St. John's averages 80 points a game, and they beat Villanova by 11 points back on February 3rd. They held the Wildcats to just 59 total points in that ball game. Julian Champagnie is scoring just about 20 points a night, along with 7 rebounds and 86% shooting from the foul line. Meanwhile, Posh Alexander scoring almost a dozen a game himself, along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Alexander's also recorded an incredible 53 total steals on the defensive end of the court. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of St. John's last 5 ball games got over the line, throwing out the Nova contest. The Red Storms officially 12-8 to the over for the year, good for 60% in that category. Meanwhile, Butler saw 4 out of their last 8 home games get over the number themselves. Give me the underdog St. John Red Storm, +1.5, and the over 138. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by Patreon.com/. patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 2-0 in our last two $1.99 daily best plays, 67% in our last 18 in that same category. Give me Alabama minus 6.5 under 156. NC State minus 1.5 under 147 and a hook. Arkansas plus 1 over 142.5. Vanderbilt plus 6 under 156.5. Creighton minus 7 under 150 and a hook. Texas Tech minus 5 over 140.5. Before I give you our next and final contest for the show, one final reminder that you can access today's daily best play on Patreon for just $1.99 by clicking the link in the description section below. Please feel free to smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. You can also subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. I like the St. John's Red Storm plus 1.5 in the over 138. With that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Doughboy Fresh, Chris Bendix, Carlo Yo, Brian Prendergast, King Jackson, Renisha Brown, Rashad Hawkins, Buddha Gang Venom, Dave Scott, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Chris Brown. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also keep in mind, if you guys subscribe to the board member tier package, you're going to get access to every single pick that I give out on that Patreon site every single day until the end of February. So just wanted to give you, that bit of information. But anyway, guys, most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page.